To draw part 1 in Inventor, we first have to start a new file. We'll create a standard IPT, or Inventor part file. And because mine acts a little funny and gives me a black window, I'll click this maximize button, and then it should look fine. So to begin, we'll create a 2D sketch. I'd like to draw on the front, and so that's going to line up here with this plane. So I'll click on front. I'm ready to sketch. For this shape, we use the line tool. I'm going to start by clicking once at the origin at 0, 0, 0. I'm going to move the mouse up, making sure to pay attention to the guide that tells me that it's a vertical line, and click again to make that line. As I move the mouse, a new line follows me. I'll click, then down, click, down, click, each time paying attention to the guides that tell me that the lines are parallel or perpendicular. And when I'm done creating that third step, I'll make sure that I'm lined up with the very first point that I made and connect the lines. So with that, because we connected, the line tool ends. There's no other line started now, and I can right click and click OK to be done with the line tool. I'll use the pan tool, which looks like a hand, to center my drawing a little bit. And now to make it the right size, according to the plan, 3 inches by 3 inches, with each step being 1 inch, we'll go to the dimension tool. I'm going to click on the line that I want to dimension once, and then move the mouse. The dimension follows my mouse, so to place it, I'll click again, and I have an Edit Dimension dialog box, and I want this to be 3 inches tall. So I'm going to change this dimension to 3. I can hit Enter or click the green check, and that changed that line to 3 and sent it off the screen. So to see that, to sort of zoom out, we can click this auto zoom button, or zoom all, they call it, and it automatically zooms to the drawing you have. We're still in the dimension tool, so now I can click the bottom line once, move the mouse, click again to drop that dimension. My dimension dialog box, I'm going to change to 3, and I'll auto zoom to have that in the middle. So far, we made it 3 inches wide, 3 inches tall, but now we have to notice that this top step is 1 inch wide by 1 inch tall. This middle step is 1 inch wide by 1 inch tall. These dimensions look a little confusing, but the bottom step is actually not dimensioned. We'll talk about that in a second. So back to my geometry, still in the dimension tool. I'll actually zoom out a little bit, change my view. I'll click once on the top step line here, click again to place a dimension, change it to 1. Click on this, place a dimension, change to 1. This line, place a dimension, change to 1. This line, place the dimension, change to 1. With this, each of these steps is 1 inch tall and wide. We didn't have to dimension the last step because we already know that it's 3 inches wide, that this step is 1 inch, and that this step is 1 inch. So 3 inches minus 2 inches has to be 1 inch. If we tried to tell the program, hey, this is going to be 1 inch, notice that it already knows, it already has 1 inch ready for me here. But if I place that dimension and I try to make that a rule for the program to follow, that this is going to be 1 inch, you'll probably get a window that looks like this pop up that says it'll over-constrain the sketch. So if you get that, you're probably putting in too many dimensions or otherwise creating too many rules. So you just cancel it. It knows already that this is 1 inch because it's 3 minus 2 in terms of width, 3 minus 2 in terms of height. So it's definitely 1 by 1. Once you have these dimensions in, once yours looks something like this, we will finish the sketch at the top right. That sort of messed up the view a little bit. I'm not quite a fan of how that did that. So I'm going to come up, find this little house, this home view, click it. That'll zoom it back to a view that we like. And then to make this 3D, we're going to use the Extrude tool. When we click the Extrude tool, it's automatically going to see this shape, and it's going to show you what it would look like if you extruded it 1 inch. For our plan, we want to extrude it 3 inches, so it's a bit thicker. We'll change the 1 to a 3. Notice the preview changes. I think it looks good. I'll hit OK. And just so we can see it better, we'll click the house again to zoom it back. And that looks good. You could take a screenshot of that, turn it in right now, and that would be perfect. I want to make one more change. I'm going to come up here way to the top where it says generic. Click that once to pull this down. And there's different material options that you could choose to make yours look a little different. My Inventor is acting a little funny, so when I do some of the materials, I have to click the rotate and move it around before you can tell the difference. So that one's concrete. You could go and change it to something else, maybe copper. And that time it changed automatically without me having to rotate it around. So pick a material that you like if you'd like to. Get it to the home view, and then use the snipping tool to create a screenshot, and then turn in the screenshot, please. Okay? And that's how you create part 1, the staircase shape.